Every one of our buildings is different. It's kind of like what John said. He referenced Orion Oaks and their front office. For those of you who have been in multiple buildings, you know that the office may be situated in different spaces. So each one of our schools does have in place different crisis plans and emergency plans that are unique specifically to their own schools. And I think that's really key to ensuring that we're not doing something that's global, but rather very unique and specific to a school. But so equally, and probably in my mind more important, is our kids, and ensuring that they have those support systems to help them deal with different kinds of issues that they deal with, and interact in positive ways and develop positive relationships with one another. And so these are the kinds of things Dave mentioned, those things that we're doing, just a few really, at the elementary and middle level, and Chris is going to talk a little bit about the high school, but I want to assure you that the student is at the center of our concern for safety and security, but their well-being is critical. And these are just a few of the things that we have in place to make that assurance to you.
Making that commitment to making connections with our kids, both student to student, as well as staff to student, as well as giving them opportunities to get involved with things. You know, Lake Orion's a great place to get an education. You know, our teachers are very, very good. You get a great education here. It's also a great place to find your passion, along with your academics, whether it be robotics, or music, or art, or athletics. Our Real Talk program is we run it a couple times during the year. We have hundreds of kids that go out and talk about real issues, student issues, things that they care about. We have teachers nominate kids to go. This isn't just the smart kids get to go, you know, or the athletes get to go, or the band kids. It's open for anybody, but we really target those kids who maybe they need to find a connection. Maybe they have a voice. Maybe we're worried about them. And we mix them in with all kids. So the kids come back from that really empowered thinking, you know what, we're all the same. Or, wow, I didn't know that this guy had it so rough. You know, it really changes their perspective. It's very, very powerful. Our counseling staff leads that.
Or in athletics, or in the band, but we also deal with the individual student. And we recognize the warning signs of our students who may need more support. And that's why the counselors and the social workers, family school coordinators, in addition to our staff and our administrators, are key to identifying those kids who may need extra support, or who may seem to be in need of really kind of some TLC. So that's our staff. I'm really pleased that we have made that commitment to ensuring that we have maintained those support staff positions here in the district. We added police presence at all of our schools, so we kind of have an officer assigned to each of our schools. They are full-time, but they go to the schools, they meet with the kids, they become well-known by our students and our staff, and they also provide us with any kind of response if we need them for that. At our events, Chris, you can verify that they're at all of our events, and Steve, not only athletic events, but other events. I don't want you to walk away saying it's 100% perfect, but we are doing many, many things that are very positive. But equally important is what can you do as parents and community members to ensure the safety of our kids. One is to keep firearms safe. I know I don't have to spend a lot of time on that, but that's critical. Secondly is to talk, and I think Chris mentioned that, talk with your kids about emergency procedures. What do you do? Not only in schools, but in any venue that you're at, in our community and outside of our community. Chris also mentioned this program, OK to Say. Kids are afraid that they're going to be narcs or snitches. Have you ever heard that from kids? I'm not telling. We need to encourage our kids to speak up. If they see something, if they hear something, if they hear from someone else, they must speak up and let us know. If you go back to some of the recent incidents, you'll see that you'll hear people say afterwards, well, he said something, or I knew something, and no one reported it. So we really need to push that issue And this program, OK to Say, is anonymous. It's confidential. Anyone, not only kids, but parents or anyone can make that call. You can text. What else can you do? Chris, you text, you can email or call and leave information, and it will be checked by law enforcement. Now, I'm going to share with you my last slide before Q&A, because this to me is a killer. What I mean by that is social media is a huge problem, and I'm asking you as parents to start monitoring your child's social media. Now let me tell you, our kids are very smart, especially when it comes to social media. So some of you say, well, I check. Do you know that kids have the ability to have multiple accounts? They're going to show you one, but they may have more than one. They can get email addresses. We always say, well, you're not supposed to get some of these applications without signing in with email addresses, and if you put one in, you can only get one. Guess what? There's an application where kids can get multiple email addresses so they can access multiple different applications. Snapchat. Do you know what Snapchat is? Raise your hand. It disappears. In other words, kids can send information to someone else and it can immediately disappear. We're planning, I'm not real up on all of these. I try to stay as in tune as I can. Let me tell you, our kids are brilliant when it comes to all of the different social media sites. In fact, we're going to be working with our leadership students to have them do some presentations and some videos for families, so you will have more information that's coming in the future. But there are a number of applications for parents where you can monitor. I've listed some of them.
Due to drastically increase security, we layer our security. We talked about 3 rings of security. There's video outside, in the lots, in the school. We have limited access control, and we're using technology. Great questions. The IP activated cameras are great, but it's a layered response. That's what it is.